Hello, good evening, and welcome to tonight's edition of The Probe. We are live, of course, on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125. We also enjoy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Love and 99.5 FM in Kumasi and across all our affiliate stations nationwide. We are also streaming live on all our digital platforms at Joy News on TV, and around the world we are on myjoyonline.com. Tonight, we turn the spotlight on the impending rollout of Ghana's Smart Port Note, simply called SPN, scheduled to take effect on February 1, 2026. With barely weeks to its implementation, the policy is already stirring significant controversy across the maritime and logistics value chain. Questions are actually mounting over its necessity, operational clarity, institutional mandate, and most critically, its cost implications for shippers, importers, and ultimately you and I, the Ghanaian consumer. It is important to note that in a statement issued on December 23, 2025, I should say, the Ghana Shippers Authority described the Smart Port Note as an advanced shipment information system and export-oriented data requirement that, according to the authority, does not impose any cost or on importers or consignees in Ghana. Let's take a closer look at excerpt of that statement from the Ghana Shippers Authority, which will be on your screens shortly. So we look at what really it has to say. In that statement, they indicated that if you are actually an importer and you are bringing goods into the country, there are certain protocols that you have to follow. And as you see the public notice rollout of the Smart Port Note, SPN, the Ghana Shippers Authority, GSA, hereby informs the shipping public that it has entered into an agreement with Inter-Ocean Maritime and Logistics Institute Limited for the implementation of the Smart Port Note, SPN system for all shipment to and from Ghana, including transit cargoes through the Ghana's seaport. This agreement was signed after extensive consultations with shippers and stakeholders, including the Ghana Union Traders Association, GUTA, Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Traders Advocacy Group Ghana, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Customs Brokers Association Ghana, QBAC, Association of Customs House Agents Ghana, ACHAG, and Freight Forwarders Association of Ghana. The SPN is an advanced shipment information system and is being introduced pursuant to the mandate of the Ghana Shippers Authority under LI 2190 to enhance trade facilitation, cargo monitoring, compliance enforcement, and the availability of reliable shipping and logistics data. Now, the authority wishes to clarify that the SPN, a form of advanced shipment information system described above, is an export-oriented data shipment and does not impose any cost on importers or consignees in Ghana. Applicable service fees shall be paid only by exporters in the country of origin, in line with international practice. All shipping lines, freight forwarders, exporters, importers, and logistic operators are expected to comply with the following SPN requirements, and they give 4 requirements there. The first one, effective February 1, 2026, every cargo destined for Ghana, including transit cargoes, must have a valid Smart Port Note, SPN, issued and validated at the port of loading. 2, each bill of lading must carry a unique SPN code. 3, cargo shipped without a valid SPN shall not be cleared at Ghanaian port until all applicable fines and penalties for non-compliance are paid and proper validation is completed. And the 4th one says Inter-Ocean Maritime and Logistics Institute and its technical partner, Antase Afrik BV, have exclusive right for the issuance of validation of SPN codes, and then they have their website there. And this particular statement was issued by the Ghana Shippers Authority December 23, 2025. And that has been one of the key concerns, being raised about that particular statement as we read it to you. And we're going to delve into that particular statement to look at all angles. Even before the policy takes off, key industry players are sounding, the alarm. Freight forwarders, importers, and shipping agents insist that the SPN risks duplicating existing data capture processes already being handled by ICOMs, potentially creating institutional overlap, operational bottlenecks, and additional cost layers within the port ecosystem. But is that assessment accurate? Joy News has been looking or digging into the issues and how different is the SPN from what ICOMs does. Will there be any additional cost to importers or consignees? What economic benefit will this actually bring to the government of Ghana? And so let's take you through the implementation timeline there. You realize that in October 27, 2023, the Finance Ministry at the time announced implementation effective November 1 of that year, 2023. And then fast forward to November 2024, Trade Ministry also announces implementation effective December 1, 2024. All this time, this particular SPN has not been able to be implemented, has not seen the light of day. Now, on December 23, 2025, just the statement I read to you, the Ghana Shippers Authority also announces another implementation date from February 1, 2026. Now, let's proceed to see countries that have already partnered with Antasa Africa here on the continent. You see right there, Burundi, Equatorial Guinea is one of those countries, and number 3 in red is Ghana. We also have South Sudan as well as Togo. Now, if you go to the Antasa Africa's tariff website, this document is there showing how much each exporter or importer is expected to pay under the ECTN arrangement, which they also say is the same as SPN. So these figures are there. We'll get details of what this actually means for this particular conversation. Now, we look at the Integrated Customs Management System ICOMS platform. You do recall that those who are opposed to the SPN are saying that the ICOMS provide the same services that this new SPN seeks to do. And Joy News has been looking at what really pertains with the ICOMS, and we are picking our sources from the ITA there, and they're operational since 2020, if you recall. ICOMS provide a single window platform for end-to-end trade facilitation. It also automates customs documentation, payment, and cargo management. That's what ICOMS actually does. Let's go on to see more of what ICOMS does. Now, in terms of the fees charged by ICOMS, it charges, as you see, the 0.75% of FOB value of import, and also 1% custom processing fee may apply. That is what ICOMS does. Now, this concerns about ICOMS and the SPN is not new, especially when it comes to the SPN. Coalition of exporters, importers, and traders on smart port nodes have been raising certain key concerns about the SPN. Key among them, one is that the SPN introduces unnecessary costs and bureaucracy for traders, right? And their second, concern is that primarily this will benefit the service provider and inter-ocean maritime, which will put the, importers and exporters at a disadvantage. And they also say that the SPN lacks legal authority to verify data at ports of origin. And then the Coalition of Exporters goes on to say no additional cost claim is misleading. You know that the Ghana Shippers Authorities indicated in that statement that the exporter will pay from the port of origin. And they are saying that is misleading. So we'll find out from them why they believe it's misleading. And they maintain that ICOMS already provides complete cargo data. Hence, there's no need to bring in another vehicle to collect that data. But already ITA has been telling us how our port is being run, and you see there lengthy cargo clearance procedures at our port, and average import clearance time in Ghana is about 14 days. They also say restrictive customs and trade regulations is what pertains in our port, and inconsistent application of import rules in our port, as well as persistent corruption challenges in our ports. So these really are the overview of what pertains in our port and the concerns being raised by stakeholders with regards to the implementation of the SPN. So tonight we ask the hard question, and we want to know, is the smart port actually, smart reform or costly application? Who really stands to benefit actually, and why is this initiative even necessary at this point in time? So joining me in studio is Michael Obreje. He is the Executive Secretary of Exim Frozen Foods Association of Ghana and the convener, Coalition of Concerned Importers, Exporters and Traders, and also the Vice President of GUTA, Joseph Paddy.
Right.
Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
On Zoom, we have Vice Adam Imoro Ayana. He is the executive member of the Ship Owners and Agent Association of Ghana. And we also have Paul Kobina Mensah. He is the General Secretary, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, and Nana Fredia-Jiman, President of QBAC, Custom Brokers Association, Ghana. And then we have the Executive Secretary for the Importers and Exporters Association also joining us, Samson Asaki Awingobit. Stay with us. When we return, we'll dive deep into these matters and bring you the real concerns of the stakeholders and why they have these concerns. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Joy News and as well as Joy 99.7 FM and Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Let's go straight into the conversation, and let's start from studio. Joseph Paddy, you are representing GUTA. What is your position on the implementation of the SPN as we have it?
Yeah, our position has been clear. I think this is not the first time we've heard about this. Once upon a time, it came in another form, and then we have to deliberate over it. You see, our concern here is we're looking at three things: time of doing business, ease of doing business, and the cost of doing business. So when they wanted to introduce the cargo tracking note, CTN, those once upon a time, we were like, we don't want the additional cost of doing business. So they have to go and revise and then put it together again. So in this time, so one of our concerns is that government always perceives the business community as corrupt. So whatever we're going to do to eliminate that perception, we're going to do it. So government came with this proposal that is going to introduce a smart port note that from the place of origin, when you have that cover, you see, most times you bring your cargo down there, and you have to bring all your cargo from the container and drop them. When you are offloading them and unloading, you have a lot of damages. Okay. So this they are saying that if they put this SPN where it has been clarified and identified, then when you come, you are good to go. And then it's also going to give you an ease and a time of doing business. So, and we also, one of our major concerns was cost. And they said with this SPN, it's not coming with any additional cost.
You believe that?
Yeah, yes, we interrogate that a lot. We say it's not going to come with that, and then the business committee, we also asking government to rationalize the port for us, because the rate of duty at the port is extremely expensive. And then government says, if I'm going to rationalize the port for you, then I have to have a real-time data, so that based on that data, I'll know how to rationalize the port. Because as I'm talking to you now, cumulatively, the duty rate at the port is about 50 to 55%. See, that is why government perceives us to be doing under declaration and misclassification. Therefore, if at the end, from the imported country, at the end, you are able to determine that this is a normal amount of cargo I have in my container and it's cleared, then you have no business. If I have the SPN on, then you have no business asking me to offload my container, drop all the goods down, reload them again into the container. That brings a lot of damages.
The SPN, as we are made to believe, is supposed to collect data.
Exactly.
What specific data?
Data of your cargo, where the cargo is coming from, what is in the container. Because most times, you know, I was told once upon a time, a cargo was coming from somewhere around the Asia country, and when the cargo got to Africa, it was full of human beings.
Human beings in a container? In a
container. They were shipping human beings to Africa. I don't want to mention those countries. You see, so if we have real-time data there, and the government is able to get the data there, okay, at the end of the year, or at the end of the quarter, we have about 10,000 containers of spare parts, and this is the volume, then I can rationalize the duty component for my people. That's what made us agree to this recent proposal that government came out with. So they are looking for real-time data to rationalize the port for us, because you need data to do policy.
Is that to suggest that all these years that we've been clearing goods at the port, we don't have any system to tell us how much of spare parts we've been importing, for instance, agrochemicals we've been importing, for instance? We don't have data.
All the data have been segmented. They are standing on their own. So they don't have a comprehensive data. That is what we were told.
So yes. the SPN, what specifically is it coming to do? I want to understand for our viewers also.
Yes, SPN is coming to collect data for government to use to do policy, one. And then for government to also to rationalize. You know, for example, people in Abosokan were asking for a flat rate duty. That when I come in my 20-footer container, and 40-footer container is 10,000, 20-footer 5,000, flat rate. I need a flat rate. But how can government do that? You need a real-time data so that you can rationalize this duty for us. So if this data, that is where we are, if this data can help government to rationalize our duty for us, then we'll go for it.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for.
So your acceptance of implementation of SPN is conditional?
Yes. So for government to get real-time data to give us a good policy and rationalize the port for us, so that duty rate can drop from about 55 to even 10, 15%, 20%, so that we can all pay.
What time frame do you think government can utilize that data to rationalize your demands, what you're looking for?
I think they said they were going to do. They're going to implement it and to check for the first quarter. When they check the first quarter, what comes in, what goes out, then they are able to get the data. So let's give ourselves maybe in a year or maybe 6 months, and when you have that real-time data, then we can go on the doorsteps of government to rationalize the port for us, because that's a major concern. We don't want to seem as perceived to be criminals, that at every point in time, government, you are doing misclassification. So that if from the end, the SPN tells you that we have 10,000 cargoes or 10,000 products in the container, then the cargo is books. We are not misclassifying it.
You don't find human beings in the container?
In the container.
Okay.
And
so Buta's position is that you are for the implementation of the SPN?
Provided it's going to give us rationalization of our port duties. Okay. That's what we're looking for. That is why somewhere along the line we bend down a little for government to let's have a first quarter implementation and see how it goes.
Okay. Yes. Hold it there. Let me go to Samson Asaki Awingobit. You speak for the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Your position on the implementation of the SPN. I want you also to tell us this data that government is looking for through the implementation of the SPN. We know ICOMS is already collecting some data. From where you sit, do you see this as a duplication of work, whereas ICOMS is doing some and now SPN is also coming to do same thing? You may have to unmute so we hear what you're saying.
Pastor Paddy, and I'm sure I saw another just in the studio. You haven't introduced him yet, or I didn't hear the name. Good evening to all of you. Am I heard loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Let me use the opportunity to educate you and your viewers. ICOMS is a system used to assess and collect duties and taxes on behalf of the government through customs. And so ICOMS does not, even though when you load a vessel, or if the vessel sail off from wherever is bringing cargo, you can monitor by seeing the rotation of the ship. When I say rotation, when they leave Japan, or when the ship is leaving US, or when the ship is leaving China and coming to Ghana, maybe it stopped at Nigeria, it stopped at South Africa, you can see it has reached Ghana. That is quite distinct, separate from what the SPN is going to do. What the SPN is going to do is to give real information to Ghanaian port authorities and Ghanaian security authorities about what has been loaded to a vessel and what is coming to your country. As Paddy Guest said, because of the country that was the country that the container went and they saw the death in that container, it was because they are implementing SPN in that country, and because they could not validate that container, they track it to where it got into, and they realized that they put surveillance, and they realized that this was what in it. If a container is leaving China and coming to Ghana and is having ammunition, the SPN will be able to give real data to the port authorities and security operators that this container, this number is carrying ammunition. If it's cocaine, they will tell you it's carrying cocaine. Again, the SPN is going
Mr. Wingobe, it appears we are losing you.
That dangerous cargo doesn't mix with consumable cargo. And to avoid, are you losing me? I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Proceed.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Wingobe.
Good. So SPN is going to do security work. Yes, SPN job will also support the security agencies of the country to be sure that whatever is coming is what we've approved. If it is weapons, it can be tracked. If it is dangerous cargo, it can be told that please, because we saw these things happening in the other jurisdictions where there have been explosions of ports, and we cannot afford to allow our port. Already, you know how much we spent. This recent MPS terminal, we spent over $5.something billion to construct it, and so we cannot allow our port to be exploited because someone has brought dangerous cargo, because we didn't have a real time data to know that this container coming, the cargo in it is very explosive.
Okay.
And so far as soon as it arrives in the port, please take it out of the port to outside terminal.
Okay, I think that point has been made, Mr. Samson Awingobe, but I'm interested in who is actually going to collect the data and at what fee.
Okay, so the company name is there. That is going to be implemented, and they will collect the data, but the data will be stored in the Ghana Space Authority. It's going to be with the government of Ghana, as you had asked me earlier in the afternoon, because the Ghana Space Authority is the one signing the agreement with the company. That I think their technical partner is called Anteza or so, Afrique. And then that you mentioned the company name earlier, something institute. You made mention. I've forgotten the company.
So Ghana Shippers Authority is giving Antasa the go ahead to collect this data on behalf of government. Is that it?
Yes. Yeah. So Antasa is an international company, but the localized company in Ghana, yeah, you've made mention, something institute is there. They are going to be the local agent, while the Antasa is globally. So this kind of job, you need offices, you need company that have the muscles. That is all over the world. You know, Ghana, we are important all over the world. And so we're going to collect this data on real times. That will also reduce congestion. That will also reduce demurrages, and that will also come to settle these invoices issues as my brother Paddy was trying to explain.
Who pays for the data collection? Who pays for that data collection?
Globally, and I'm happy. Globally, ship owners under the UNESCO and then the, I think WTO. There is a block wherever you pay your freight narration. There's a percentage of money that sits on a one particular platform where countries that are implementing smart node, as Ghana intend to implement, access those funds to run the operations.
And this is not bringing additional cost to the exporter or importer?
So far as we are aware, with all the engagement, as from AGI, from Gupta, from importer, as well as from free forwarders, from TAG, all of us collectively, all the engagement that we've been, we're very emphatic about the additional cost that it will bring. So ICOMS and SPN are two distinct companies, and so for anybody, the risk level to know what is actually good.
I'm afraid we're losing Samson Asaki Awingo bits there. But let me bring in, while we try to reconnect to Samson, let me bring in Adam Imoro Ayana. He is the executive member, Ship Owners and Agent Association of Ghana. Tell me if you really understand what SPN seeks to do. You are a key industry player. Do you understand what SPN seeks to do?
Thank you, Chief, and good evening to your listeners. To start with, this is the first time we, as in the shipping lines, we heard of SPN, I think last week when there was a presser. So we haven't been in any engagement, so we don't even know what they seek to do with SPN. Our challenge has been also that we read in the presser that SPN note or a unique number would have to be on the bill of lading. We haven't been told how it's supposed to be, whether it's in a free text, it's in a special text, or text box. And so we are at a loss as to what is happening. We don't know what's happening.
Based on the explanations given by GUTA and Importers and Exporters Association, you think it's a good thing for us to venture into?
From what I've heard so far from them, I don't really understand what they are saying, because all what they are saying, reduction of duty, I don't know how gathering of data will reduce duty. I don't even know how people will expect that, if you bring one container of spare parts, you should have a flat rate. Duty is based on the specific item and the value of the item. So with that, I don't understand. I also hear something like rationalization of port. I don't really understand what they mean by rationalization of port. What do they want to be rationalized in the port? Are we talking of trade facilitation? Are we talking of documentation? Document facilitation? Is it a case that maybe customs is missing some information? That is why they need it from load port. And at the end of the day, I've heard everybody say cost is cost. I've been saying this over the years when at a point in time, I recall that GSA were saying that, whatever charges the shipping line are charging, they should move it to origin. But we should know that whatever happens in origin, definitely it would be passed on to the final consignee. So the points that they've raised, I'm just confused. They say because of SPN, human beings were found in a container and they verified.
He was just citing that to explain, give an example. Okay, so...
Yeah, but how will SPN see the human beings in the container or note that human beings? Is it that the document at origin would already state human beings in the container?
He said because SPN was not being used, the container arrived at its destination and they found out that human beings were in there.
But what was the documentation on the container? Every container, every shipment, there is a booking that the shipper would do. And what the shipper says is in the container is what will be documented. So today, when a shipper comes to me, for instance, and takes a container from me and says he's loading books and he fills his shipping instruction, I'm not there for him or her to staff the container. So what he puts, the shipping is based on documentary. What he put on the shipping booking instruction, if he says books and it's gold in it, that is how customs comes in. When you get to destination, maybe they will check and know that is gold. But so I'm just a bit confused. I'm even getting more confused with.
So what would you want to say to Shippers Authority briefly? If you are an industry player at this point and you say you are confused about the SPN, what would you want to say to implementers of this policy?
I would only stand from one point. I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole discussion that is going around because I think it's important that we educate people properly. So with what I know, we don't understand what they intend to do, and we don't know what they even want from the shipping lines. This is happening on 1st of February. And if the government intends to go ahead on 1st of February, and the shipping lines don't even know what to do, most of the principals, when they saw the presses, are asking questions, but we don't have answers for them. So what might happen is then unfortunately lines might have to leave cargo behind. We contacted shippers via phone, and I was promised that they will reach out to us and then have a dialogue with us. It's a week now. We haven't heard anything, and February is just around the corner. All I'm worried about is, I mean, if this is what the government wants to do as shipping lines, they are not going to stop it. We are not going to stop it. But the reasons being alluded to by maybe the proponents who have been in stakeholder engagement, I really don't see anything here. Maybe there's something else I don't know. Maybe when we meet, they'll let us know.
All right.
Carlos.
Yeah, Samson Awingo, give me 1 minute. I'll come back to you. I have in studio.
No. You see, my senior, Ayana is my senior brother. When you come to public discussions and you want to run down people integrity, people intelligence, I completely disagree with
Samson,
you.
I will come back to you respectfully. We'll come back to resolve that matter. Let me come in studio and then talk to Michael Obiri. He's the convener, Coalition of Concerned Importers and Traders Association. You've listened to GOTA. You've listened to the Importers and Exporters Association. Mr. Ayana also raised his own concerns about the SPN. What is your own concern about this particular SPN policy?
Thank you very much, Carlos. Yeah. And let me start by saying a very good evening to your cherished listeners and viewers across the length and breadth of the country. Also, a very good evening to importers, exporters, and traders. It is they who have given me their mandates, those who are concerned about the issues happening within our ports, who have given me their mandates to speak on behalf of them this evening. Our concern really with the SPN is that if you look at the Shippers Authority's own statement, released on the 23rd of December 2025, they do state some 4 things or 4 objectives that, according to them, the SPN is intended to achieve. Now, if you look at the design of the SPN, because mind you, the SPN is not new to our shipping regime. The SPN has been here a couple of times. In fact, in 2015, when the SPN came under the guise of CTN and all of that, when it came, one of the reasons why it was stopped, and if you go to the Antasa Afrique's own website, one of the reasons why they suspended it was because at the time we realized that a single window platform was the best way to go, and that we didn't need parallel systems running at the same time.
Okay.
Now, if you move away from then we come to 2020, where we have ICOMS. And I would say something briefly about ICOMS because it appears that the narrative is being painted as though we claim ICOMS and SPN are the same thing. No, we understand that they are distinct things. The more reason why we say you cannot have 2 parallel systems running at the same time when you have one that is more efficient.
Which is more efficient ICOMS.
ICOMS. Because you see, for all the things that they say they intend to achieve with the SPN, ICOMS does give you that already.
Everything in there?
Everything in there. So let's take them one after the other.
Let's educate our people.
Yes, let's educate our people well. Yes. So let's take them one after the other. You say you want available and reliable data. And my colleague mentions that the data is fragmented. It's in different places. That is not true. Because all the ministries, agencies, and departments that require data within our ecosystem are on ICOMS. Now, when you import or you bring cargo into the country, you would be required or you are required to input your trading documents on ICOMS. And so you are giving all your trading documents, you are inputting that on ICOMS. And it is based on the inputs that we do, based on the manifest that the shipping lines give to GSA customs as mandated by law, that GSA is able to charge 9 Ghana cedis per BOE. So if you say the data is not available, the data is not reliable, on what basis do you charge the 9 Ghana cedis? On what basis do you charge the $2 that you charge per gross tonnage?
What is gross tonnage?
Yeah. If those fish industry and then those in the chicken, this in the end.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Now, apart from that, so that is with data. Apart from that, the shipping lines, like I said, are required to submit manifest to GSA. They are manifest to GSA. And if you look at the law, if you look at Act 1122, Section 35 of Act 1122, the shipping lines, and with your permission, let me read. It says, the agent of an ocean carrier in a port or haulage at a border shall not more than 3 days before the arrival of a ship in a port, 2 truck at a border, and all of that, say, send a copy of cargo manifest.
3 days.
3 days. So you cannot claim that the ship would dock at Tema, for instance, and then we'll just open it and we are taken by surprise because there are human parts in there. No, the manifest tells you everything that
that is what pertains today.
Exactly.
That minimum of 3 days.
3 days.
Your cargo information.
Exactly.
Should get to, say, Tema Port or Takoradi Port.
Exactly.
Before even the vessel docks.
Exactly. So it is not true that we can be taken by surprise what comes to our ports. Beyond that, it is also not true that when we are unable, if the shipper says that I have books in the if I have books in the cargo and it comes, SPN has a way of dealing with it if the person is bringing something other than books, like my colleagues allude to.
Because they will check before they load.
No, because here at our ports, we have invested in scanners that are scanning the cargo that you are bringing.
But you can only scan when the cargo arrives at the
Yes,
port.
so when...
But what SPN seeks to do, based on what he explained, is that before even the cargo leaves the port of, let's say, Germany, here you already know.
Yes, there's an SPN rep.
But for the scanner, the cargo needs to come physically to the port for the scanner to work.
But I said the scanner is one leg. I have earlier told you that the law mandates the shipping lines to submit the manifest no later than 3 days.
Sure.
So it is not the case that it will get here before we have the data of what is coming here.
Okay.
That's not the case.
And what you are saying sit on ICOM's platform.
So what we are saying sits on ICOM's platform. And like I mentioned to you in the law, that the shipping lines do submit that also to GSA. So if the shipping lines are submitting this to you already, what is the essence of the SPN? And Asaki mentions that the SPN, nobody will be paying for it. Forgive me, but I think he perhaps has not adverted his mind to the GSA's own statement. Because if you read the GSA's own statement, paragraph 3 of the GSA's own statement, line 3.
Right.
This is what it says. All applicable fees shall be paid only by exporters in the country of origin. So it means that somebody is paying for it. And when the exporter pays for it, as we know, cost is cost. Once the thing has been paid for by someone, it is you and I who would bear the final brunt of it. So if you look at this clearly and you look at the extra bureaucracies that are being introduced into a system that does not need the kind of bureaucracies that we're introducing, then you are counterproductive towards what you say is trade facilitation. Because what is trade facilitation? That goods should be able to move from one end
faster
to the other faster, without a lot of costs that are unnecessary.
So briefly, because we are running out of time,
Yeah.
your position on the implementation of SPN is that?
Our position on the implementation of SPN is that it is needless. it does not solve any problem. It only increases the cost of doing business and even increase or brings further delay.
Okay.
In the value chain. If you look at because
so it should be suspended.
It should be scrapped off totally, because like you have rightly seen on this table that even the shipping lines themselves do not even have notice of whatever is going on.
Mr. Paddy wants to react to you.
Hold it. Ayana is being mischievous because
please,
government announced
understand.
in the budget 2025. It was
1 minute, because I need to go to others also on.
Consultations are important. The announcement alone does not solve anything.
Okay, let me bring in the General Secretary of Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Paul Kobina-Mensah. What is your own position as GIF on this matter? Maybe you may have to unmute so we hear what you're saying.
Good evening, Carlos, and good evening to my cherished members. Thank you so much for having me on the program, even though there's a short notice. But I also have been following up with the discussion.
Well, we seem to be having some challenge with his connectivity there. Let me bring in Nana Fredia from QBAG. If you can hear me, you are also a key industry player at the port. What is your own reading into this SPN debate? Well, I mean, you are divided. Some believe that it's a good thing. Others believe this is going to cause a lot of challenge in the sector. What is your own view?
Well, good evening, Carlos, and your esteemed viewers and listeners. My view I express is not my own view, it's the view of my association. And QBAG is an association of professional freight forwarders and custom house agents.
Right.
We, in principle, don't oppose government policy, except if the policy is inimical to our trade. And SPN, if you know, has a historical antecedents. It started from over like a decade ago. It has been brought back and taken away in various forms. From the days of Antasa, that is ASHI, to cargo tracking node,
right,
all the way to SPN that, I mean, it's been resurrected again. In fact, it's in the Shippers Authority law that was promulgated in 2024. And it comes under that name. But all that means is getting quality data on shipments. And so QBAG, in principle, does not oppose anything that would go to enhance the work we do. Because we struggle a lot when it comes to data in our own industry, in our space. We have to do position papers and write-ups like that. We sometimes have to go and get data from...
So you believe that SPN is going to provide that crucial data?
Or not. Exactly, that is our understanding. So we have agreed to the SPN on certain conditions.
What are these conditions?
These conditions are spelled out in a resolution that was reached at the Peninsula Resort somewhere in July 26th or so of 2025. And some of the key, issues that were addressed and for which reason we have accepted it conditionally is that the implementation will be quite different from what used to be the case when it comes to the two other attempts. The earlier initiatives that was fought off. And the variations are in the fact that CHAs, what we call CHAs or custom house agents, will be able to file the smart port node or the shipping cargo node from within Ghana. In the two other attempts that were made, the node will only be filed from the port of loading and things like that. But now we have the opportunity to do it here. Once you get the details from your importer, exporter, you'll be able to file it.
Okay.
Also, there are a few things that we have advocated for and has been agreed to in principle. And we want to believe that that will be the case and there'll be no changes.
Okay, because we are running
our acceptance.
We are running out of time. I just want to pick your thought on the cost aspect of it. Concerned, traders are saying this is actually going to add cost Briefly, 30 seconds, what do you make of those concerns?
Well, we are made to understand that this SPN does not, involve any cost to the importer, because it is not a value assurance mechanism. It is a data collection, a data assurance mechanism. So there'll be no cost directly because when it was being filed by the shippers and the shipping agents outside of Ghana, they charge you for the additional service they were providing. Now that we have the chance to do it, it will be at no cost, to the importer or the trader. That's the understanding we have reached. So I believe if we stick to the resolutions that we have agreed on generally, then it will be a much better day for us. Our interest in all of this is the data that
is actually going to enhance what you do at the port. Thank you so much. Let me come in studio to Mr. Paddy. You have some concern. 1 minute.
Minister was reading the budget. He was emphasizing on misclassification. Traders misclassified. That is their challenge. So they are going to get somebody from the end there to check. So manifests are prepared after loading. But with this SPN, it's before loading. So there's somebody real time checking what is going into the container. You see, and one of the assurance that was given to us was that it's not for duty purpose. This is not for duty purpose, it's for data for government policy. So if it's not for duty purpose, we are not worried about that. But I didn't understand why I said we should rationalize our port rate, because the duty rate, that's our...
Yeah, he wants to understand what you meant by rationalization.
Yes, because the duty rate at our port is about 55%, relatively. So if I bring a container worth about $100,000, I'm paying about $55,000 duty component, which we think is on the higher side. Maybe that might be some of the reasons why people do whatever they want to do to cut down costs. So if government is going to get real-time data, and know these are the volumes, these are the actual data, and therefore I can bring the duty rate down for...
Based on data you've collected from SPN, then you are for it.
Exactly.
Okay. So I see Michael wants to react, but I still have Kobina Mensah on Zoom. Okay. Let me see if we can pick his thoughts briefly. So you are from the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. What is your position on this particular SPN? Kindly unmute so we can hear what you're saying, Mr. Kobina Mensah.
Yes, I was saying, sorry that I'm having challenges connecting.
That's fine.
But as I was saying, we as Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders...
They are saying that's the actual data.
Please proceed. Oh, I think we're having a challenge with this network there. But Michael, you have an intervention to make on...
I do have a couple of interventions. I do have a couple of interventions to make. The first is...
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, so quickly. For me, when Paddy comes in, his second interjection into or discussion into the matter, for me, further obfuscates matters. Because,
oh, really?
Yes, because you see, he says the way he presented the SPN initially appeared that it had everything to do with the duties we're paying. No. He says that it's to rationalize the ports.
He said data.
Yes,
data and not taxes or revenues. No, data on the goods you are bringing into the country.
Okay, because at a point he almost confused me.
Oh, okay.
At a point he almost confused me.
All right.
Because as we know it, and like we've said, when you look at the SPN, the smart port notes that they give you after the freight forwarder there at the port of origin has done whatever they have to do, it does not cure anything. We want them to tell us one thing that it cures in the value chain that is a problem currently. Because when you say you want reliable data, are you saying that the data that we generate on ICOMS, the single window that we have currently, for which reason we even had to suspend the same SPN in 2015, is not reliable? Because it is based on the data that we are collecting currently on ICOMS that we make a lot of decisions. So if we're still going to keep ICOMS and you say that you want real-time data, you want data that is reliable, ICOMS is giving you data.
Okay.
So what reliable data?
Let me go to Samson Asaki Awingobit. He believes that there's a different set of data that SPN seeks to collect. Samson, if you are with us, you were explaining earlier that the data that SPN seeks to collect is totally different from what ICOMS is giving us. But Michael believes it's the same data.
It's the same.
What is that different data that SPN seeks to collect?
Actually saying what comes to ICOMS, you cannot hold ICOMS responsible if somebody bring in ammunitions. Okay, you cannot hold ICOMS responsible if someone bring in cocaine into the country. You cannot hold ICOMS responsible when a vessel arrives in Ghana and they do not know what is in it and there's explosions. You cannot hold ICOMS. What comes to ICOMS is the shipping document, the shipping manifest, and Ayana just told you what the agent would tell them, the shipping lines, at the point of loading, that is putting into the container, giving the shipping instructions, is what they put on the shipping manifest or the bill of lading. Nothing else, nothing more.
So what
if
more?
There's a problem. Even the shipping line themselves will say they will receive what you told them that you kept the container. So, but come again.
Yeah, I wanted to know what more SPN is looking for beyond
what. Are you
what.
asking the question?
Exactly. You touch on what goes onto the ICOMS document, okay? And I want to know what will go on the SPN, which will not be on ICOMS. I just want that clarity.
So I just told you that the manifest, the shipping manifest that will come 72 hours or the 3 days before the vessel arrive, only come to inform that what the agents say that they are putting into the container is what they will transfer to the manifest. But on the SPN is to tell you exactly what is coming to your country.
But how do you calculate if you don't know what is in the container? I think
no.
Hold it. Michael has a different view.
That's untrue because Antasa does not do a physical inspection of the cargo.
No, they do.
They don't.
At the end.
You see, when Fredria was speaking, he said one of the conditions for which they are willing to accept the SPN is that the customs house agents who are here should be able to do it.
Do it from here.
To do it from
here.
Not
necessarily go there.
So what are you going to do? You are just going to submit documents to the Antasa platform and say that you are declaring the cargo that is coming in advance. So you would give that document to Antasa. They do not do a physical inspection of the cargo. So if you
they should have their agent in
that was one of the conditions.
They do not do. Antasa is not new to our jurisdiction. It's not new to the industry. Right. They do this in other jurisdictions, in Togo, in South Sudan, among others. Nowhere do they do a physical inspection.
They do.
They do not do a physical inspection. They do not do a physical inspection of the cargo.
Okay.
And so it is not. And when he says that you will not hold ICOMS responsible, are you going to hold Antasa responsible?
Exactly.
If
how do you hold
them responsible?
Because you are the agent of government at the end point there. And you say
agent of government, you said?
No, you said that you have checked the cargo that is coming in, you have verified it for verification purpose, and then it's 10 that is in a container. You've brought all these things for government, for that, how do you call it, data. And then it comes in something else, we will be held responsible because you are the end result there.
Who is going to hold Antasa responsible? Who? Is it the port here?
No, who contracted Antasa?
Government of Ghana or Ghana Shippers Authority.
Exactly. Exactly so. And then that is why I was saying that, you see, when the Minister of Finance was reading the budget, his emphasis was traders are doing misclassification. Traders we want to abuse the minds of a minister and the government that traders, we are not hiding anything.
Okay.
We don't misclassify what we say is on the money.
You do not disabuse their minds by making the process more cumbersome for the trader.
Okay. Now I have just 1 minute to go. I'm going to give you 30 seconds each on this SPN thing. Your ultimate position is that SPN is not coming to collect any new data, and that ICOMS is already providing that data. So what would you want to say to Ghana Shippers Authority briefly, 30 seconds?
Thank you very much. Now, what I want to say to Ghana Shippers Authority is that the essence of the Shippers Authority is to protect the shipper. Protect the shipper also against arbitrary cost. The Shippers Authority should not be seen as the one that is introducing such arbitrary cost. And that we do not need to take Ghana steps back when we have moved forward, because Ghana is part of the nations that have moved into destination inspection. We are no longer in the pre-shipment inspection era. We've moved forward. Don't take us...
1st of February. They're going to implement it. What will be your position?
Our position is that this should not happen. And if the Shippers Authority does not listen to us, if government does not listen to us, then we would advise ourselves.
What are you going to do?
We would advise ourselves.
Okay. Paddy,
you see?
Briefly, 30 seconds.
Yeah, Guta.
You also said from the beginning that you have certain concerns about the
Guta, our position already.
Yeah.
That anything that would bring additional cost of doing business, no. So that is why with the stakeholder engagement, we went through all this and we have identified there's not going to be any additional cost of doing business. It's going to facilitate trade by giving a real-time data for government to do its policy. And then, so we're convinced somewhere along the line.
Okay.
Yes. But so that our major challenge is that no additional cost of doing business.
Okay.
This is for data purpose, and it's not for duty purpose.
Okay.
Then we'll go for it.
Thank you. Let me bring in Nana Fredia. 30 seconds. Nana Fredia, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, Carlos.
30 seconds.
Yeah, all I want to add is that about the debate on whether there'll be like fiscal verification or boots on the ground. What we have agreed on and what we know about SPN is that it is now going to be limited. I mean, verification, fiscal verification will now be limited to special circumstances like exemptions, targeted compliance checks, or high-risk cargo, and it will be triggered by the competent authorities. It's not going to be like wholesale. So when it is triggered, that's when they would request for fiscal examination before it is taken on board.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on The Probe. We have been looking at the implementation of the Smart Ports nodes, which is being championed by the Ghana Shippers Authority. And we've been speaking to industry players, and they've been expressing their views and concerns about the implementation of this particular policy. This has been The Probe. We've been live on Joy 99.7 FM, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and over 30 affiliates across the country. Thank you so much for watching. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Kalone. Good night.